Before we begin today's video, I wanted to take a moment to thank all of my awesome members. Thank you for supporting the future of video and being a part of the Tilt Squad. If you want to learn more on becoming a channel member here on YouTube or over on my Patreon, you can check out the links at the end of the video and in the description box below. Hey everyone, it's a great day for another episode of Urbex, and today I bring you the Greenwood Mall in Greenwood, Indiana. We recently took a look at the final days of the Circle Center Mall in downtown Indianapolis. Now the Greenwood Mall that we're looking at now is actually out in the southern suburbs of Indianapolis. So for context, Greenwood, Indiana is just your average middle-class suburbs. Well, if we even have a middle class anymore, but what used to be a middle-class suburb, where you've just got entry-level homes, just average everything. People make a decent living, and they've got a little bit of extra money to spend. So this mall is actually thriving. Now, I'm so glad that this mall is thriving because when we took a look at the Circle Center, that was a very depressing video, and this one is a complete polar opposite. Okay, guys, so that's a Lids store. This is a Journey sign. Why is it even here on the wall? Although I think Journeys owns Lids, if I'm correct. I don't know, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Okay, so looking here at the Code of Conduct, you can actually see they don't allow you to do photographing or video recording for commercial use, but if you're just filming it for yourself, then go ahead. And tell me how. I thought that was really phenomenal, seeing a mall embrace people taking video and photos of the place and allowing them to post them online. I mean, it's like free advertisement. Why wouldn't you want that? And if your mall is doing well, you know, it's just going to encourage other people that might be looking for things to do in the area. Maybe they're traveling or visiting the area, and they'll see all those posts and be like, man, I should go visit the mall. All right, so before we get too far into the video and everyone gets upset that I've been saying the mall name technically incorrectly, well, technically not incorrectly, but I have some family members that grew up and lived around the Indianapolis area, and they always just called it the Greenwood Mall. They left out the park part, so technically not inaccurate, but officially the mall's name is the Greenwood Park Mall. I always get enjoyment out of walking into these Von Maur stores. They just feel like you're in some sort of a fancy hotel almost. Until you take a look at any of the price tags on any of the things they're selling, and then you'd have a heart attack and wish you hadn't walked inside. So we're going to be taking a look at the mall's fountain in a moment, and while in this clip it's drained and completely turned off, I do have some clips of it later on in the video where it's actually on, running, and tinted green for Christmas. It was really cool to see it like that, so make sure that you watch the entire video in order to see these amazing fountains. I think now would be a great time to dig into the mall's history and learn exactly why this mall is still thriving. Around the year 1965, the Greenwood Shopping Center would be built by Atkinson & Company. It would be an open-air mall and would officially open in 1965. Now, this original name is probably why locals still just call it the Greenwood Mall. The mall would originally cost $25 million to build. 1977 would see the mall being acquired by the Melvin Simon & Associates, who would purchase it for an undisclosed amount of money. In 1980, the mall would undergo a renovation and expansion and be rebranded as the Greenwood Park Mall. By the 1990s, an average of 10 million shoppers a year were visiting the mall, which would be around 28,000 a day. By the 90s, the mall had a leasable retail space with an area of 1 million square feet. At the time of this recording, this is the only mall in the metro area of Indianapolis to retain its Old Navy store. The one at Lafayette Square, Washington Square, Circle Center, and Castleton Square have all closed permanently in recent years. The mall originally had a service merchandise, but that would be transformed into a Dick's Sporting Goods, which would open in 2005. Oftentimes while researching the history of a mall, they talk about stores and stuff that opened or closed on the property or nearby the property, and I always kind of scratched my head and went, why? Because, I mean, they're not part of the mall, technically. It's like, oh, wait, is this Rocket Fizz soda? Yes, it is. Yeah, Rocket Fizz Soda Shack. I kind of do, before we leave. Okay, everyone, I have to show you how many flavors of, I call it pop, but you might call it soda, but it's soda pop. Look at all of that. That is ridiculous. I think this might outdo Jungle Jim's in Cincinnati.
All the way down there, come all the way back again.
We're going to be coming all the way back past here.
Yes,
Yeah, what?
Route 66 was bitter.
You guys, whatever.
The monkeys.
So for example, while researching this video, I came across information while talking about the mall that said on October 27th of 1994, a Lowe's home improvement store opened just north of the Greenwood Park Mall. But again, like I said, that has nothing to do with the mall. Just like TGI Fridays would officially open at the mall on October 12th of 1998. Well, I'm kind of thinking that that was on the mall property and not actually in the mall itself, but my research doesn't really specify. The Old Navy that I just mentioned a moment ago would open on February 2nd of 2000.
The cookies chocolate.
Oh, look at, they've got Minions cookies. Those are super cool. And the rainbow ones. Oh my gosh, I think this is one of those Asian vending machines. Yes, and it's got all the little Asian stuff in it. Yes, those gash pawn things. I've never seen one before. That is cool. I mentioned earlier that this was originally an open-air shopping mall, and it wasn't converted into an enclosed mall until 1980. Originally, the mall was themed around a park. So imagine walking through the open-air mall, and it would have lots of trees, and it just felt like you were out in a park. And that's partially where its name came from. Also, the fact that it was in Greenwood. Sadly, the renovation from open air to enclosed mall would remove all of this awesome theming, and it would no longer resemble a park. The next renovation wouldn't come until 2003, and this would be the very first renovation as it was an enclosed mall. This renovation was what would transform the mall into what we know today. A more open and airy food court, more modern interior, and all of the old decor would just be removed and replaced with something more minimalist. And by the spring of 2004, the renovation on the mall would be complete. Despite a few minor changes over the years, the mall currently retains, or mostly retains, its 2003 renovations. Somewhere between 2003 and 2007, the Lazarus and Ellis Air Store, which were original to the mall, they were owned by Macy's, and Macy's would choose to rebrand them. The Lazarus space would turn into a Macy's, while the Ellis Air Store would liquidate and close permanently. In 2007, the former Ellis Airs would be demolished and a lifestyle center would be constructed in its place. This would increase the gross leasable space by 115,000 square feet, and the Lifestyle Center would officially open on November 8th of 2007. It's now 2018, and longtime viewers of my channel, you know what that means. Oh yes, it's Sears closing time. The Sears would officially close on October 15th of 2018. Now, I believe the JCPenney was original to the mall, but I didn't see any information that told exactly when the JCPenney was added to the mall and what date it closed. Because in 2019, it was announced that a Dave & Buster's would take over the former JCPenney home store location. Yeah, so apparently at one point there was the JCPenney store, which is still part of the mall today, and then they had a home store location as well. The 34,500 square foot Dave & Buster's would open on November 15th of 2020. Then, on July 17th of 2022, tragedy would strike at the mall as 3 people were killed and 2 others were wounded after a mass shooting would occur at the mall's food court. The gunman was subsequently shot and killed by a legally armed bystanding civilian. Now, if I can find any footage of this or news articles or news clips, I will definitely insert them in the video at some point. So this brings us to today and the footage that you're looking at right now. This is still a very nice mall in a very nice community, although it is a little more mixed and the income has kind of slipped over the years, but it's still very nice and a relatively safe community. Now, of course, I know I don't live there, and a lot of you are going to say how horrid the community is and how crime-ridden it is or whatever. I'm just looking at statistics. And that's really all I have to go off of. And, I can talk to some family members that have lived there over the years or that currently live there. But that's the history of the Greenwood Park Mall in Greenwood, Indiana. Thanks everyone for joining me here for today's episode of Urbex to check out the Greenwood Park Mall in Greenwood, Indiana. I hope you're enjoying these videos, and if you are, please give the video a thumbs up. It really helps with the channel and helps me to produce more videos just like this. And if you want more awesome content and to see the raw and real edition where you can get all the sights and sounds just as though you were walking through the mall, then you can check out the links on screen and in the description box below to get access to all the member content. But that's going to do it for today's episode. I appreciate all of you so much, and I will see you on the next episode.